Behold the venom produced by the head of the snake. Gaze upon the fruits of its propagation of the global war machine, commiserating its empire of destruction and misery as it slithers throughout the globe, bringing megadeath and agony to all. Beware the head of the snake. Stay vigilant, my friends. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for spending your time in the Tiger's Den. We will try not to waste it. It is Monday, August 14th, 2023 AD. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, our special monthly addiction episode. From video games to heroin, addiction can affect anyone. If not directly, then indirectly. If you're an addict and you're listening to this, I have some strong medicine for you this evening. Remember, everything you do has consequences, not only for you, but for those that you love and love you. Every action you take indirectly affects people who care about you. If you're an alcoholic and your friend has to watch you time after time, get on your motorcycle or get in your car to drive after you've had too many beers and it's not worth the fight anymore, and he just lets you go. In reality, that is a selfish act. Your friend will worry, and if he's any kind of friend at all, he will pray that you arrive to your destination safely. Your brothers, your sisters, your parents, all of your friends, your family, your children, grandchildren, these are the people that are in your life. These are the people that care about you, and these are the people you hurt daily, indirectly, by continuing your addiction. A selfish act. The scourge of addiction is all about oneself until the act of being selfish consumes you, and you are so wrapped up in your addiction you don't realize you're destroying yourself, hurting others, and your behavior affects other people, creating a problem for them, perhaps ruining their lives along with yours. With us tonight, ladies and gentlemen, a bearcat of liberty, tearing through the walls of tyranny, and also helping us out on our addiction episode, Pat the Plumber. Also with us tonight, ladies and gentlemen, another plumber, throwing his monkey wrench into the gears of tyranny like a madman. I'm doing this impromptu, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a long day. We have Mr. Tom Cooper. Also with us tonight, over 20 years of experience in the rehabilitation industry. And Chris, who has been with us many times, is a sunshine of liberty and light, blasting through the darkness of lies and disinformation. And also with us tonight, a soul counselor, a very wise lady and learned in many theologies, and host of the Occult Priestess show. And she has another show she's going to announce that she does on the Sims. You can watch her build her own cities and tear them down and be her own occult goddess over the cities and reign supreme. Occult Priestess. Thanks, guys, for joining me tonight. And oh, look, it is Mr. Graves is here too. And the host of Digging with Mr. Graves and co-host of Conspiring with Mr. Cooper, the mastodon of researchers, ladies and gentlemen, Chris Graves has joined us. Guys, good evening, and thank you, and thanks for your patience for me stumbling through that absolutely horrible introduction, but impromptu.
I thought it was a lot of fun. We all appreciated it.
Cool.
I give it a solid 7.
Nice.
We got people gathering in the chats already. This is awesome.
Yes, I'm greeting them.
So hello, Aaron's Energy. Hello, Ford Jones. Been a while since I've seen y'all.
What just happened? How did that just happen? Why did that just happen? Okay, I'm gonna get my ugly mug off of here and try to do this again. There we go. All right. So, guys, I missed the last show, and I want to apologize to everybody for that because I had a power outage here, and I just had to get the stream up and running with my phone. And I want to thank everybody here for running the show for me while I was gone. Thanks. OP, thanks a lot too. She was a pinnacle in it. So thank you for taking over. And it was actually, I rewatched the show and it was amazing. Amazing.
So
We missed you.
I missed the show. Believe me, it was a stressful day. Pat, dude, you brought something up to me on the side that I think a lot of people, whether they know it or not, have an addiction problem. And tell the audience and us what you were talking to me about.
My biggest struggle as of late would be nicotine. I'm not going to say that I have beaten other things. I have triaged them to a minute, if not at all, level. But nicotine has always had a grasp on me. My entire adult life, starting as a juvenile, I've been a full-time smoker for 20 years. And I started doing jujitsu about 3 months ago, and you can learn how to breathe and you can control your breathing to a point and still be a full-time smoker, but you're always going to get gassed at a point. And it's really been frustrating me because it's something that I've always wanted to conquer. And I've always known inside that if I could beat this, it would literally be the greatest accomplishment of my life. Because you can work out and you can do all kinds of everything, but if you're still smoking, you're still making a beeline towards the wrong direction. And it's, at 40 years old, it's something that I would really like to overcome. And I was just curious. I know I'm sitting in a room full of smokers, but I even tried that. I tried the medical route. I tried Chantix. And you're supposed to take. Sorry, I got a cat messing with me. You're supposed to take half of it in the beginning, and kind of taper up to it. But it just made me completely neurotic. I tried to do my best and power through it, but had to stop it ultimately because, it made me a complete wreck. I've heard one of the guys that I roll with in jiu-jitsu, he's a lung surgeon, like world famous lung surgeon, and he was saying that Wellbutrin might be another option because it's not the generic.
I did that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Well, that's what I'm asking.
Dude, that is a psych med.
Oh,
do not mess with that, dude. That's what they give you in prison, brother. Those are the Wellbutrin is what they give you. No.
Well, that's what I wanted to bring it to the table. What does everybody think? What are your experiences? What have you heard?
Don't do it, dude.
They say it's harder than heroin to
gives
kick.
You scary dreams, dude. Don't do it. That's my take.
That's another thing that Chantix did.
I love this comment from 4 Jones in the chat. Got to make martial arts the habit. It is hard. I quit cigs, but I vape. Still feel a lot better than I did when smoking. And I vape too, 4 Jones, and I feel a lot better. But I don't trust the vape either. That's polyglycol and all that other stuff going in your lungs. Is there a way for the body to process it? What's the half-life inside the body? All those questions come to mind. But I do feel a lot better. I can run further and without getting winded as soon.
There's this thing on the market called Fume. It's an all-natural thing. It's super expensive. That's why I haven't tried it, but I've heard good stuff about it. So
what is it, Tom? Is it a snuff or a?
No, it's like a little wood thing, and you pack it with this natural. I don't know exactly what it is, like some kind of leaves or something, tea leaves or something. I'm not exactly sure. I have to go back and look, and then you just puff on that, and that's supposed to help. There's some nicotine in it, but not as bad as cigarettes.
That was always my problem with the vape is, I bought a $100 module and I've tried disposable ones and I just can't get it to hit. I just can't get it to hit like a cigarette. I couldn't get it close enough for it to give me that break. You know what I mean? It just didn't do it. And I almost feel like with everything else that I have conquered in my life, like it's at the end of the day, it's going to be a mental thing. That obsessive compulsive or even just regular routine of now I'm in the van, I can chain smoke till I get to the next job, somehow convincing myself to break that habit.
Nice.
Well, a behavioral therapist says you need to replace a bad habit with a good one. and some people say gum, but I don't think that's good for your teeth. But some kind of oral fixation kind of habit. But you were lucky that you got off the Chantrix. That's one of those drugs that makes people sleepwalk and possibly murder their neighbor. And I would say stay away from all pharmaceuticals always and forever.
And they found that it's causing cancer.
Not shocked.
So
actually,
you can work through it with your martial art. I think that's what martial arts is all about. 100% is self-control, denial of the animal beast wantings. But I'll let you know that I have been in very high states of consciousness and I've still wanted a cigarette. And my last word on this is my guru, when I said, oh, I should stop smoking, she laughed at me. And she said, are you serious? And I said, yeah, it's not good for me. She's like, oh, really? And she said, you can smoke wherever you want. Life is hard. Do what you can do, you know? And so she told me that when I was a teenager, and now I have just no problem with it.
I actually, I smoked cigarettes, regular cigarettes for years and tried quitting, just abstaining. And then I did do the Chantix, and
Yikes.
I actually, I had weird dreams. I didn't have any other issue. I stayed on it for about a year and said, okay, you've never gone a year without a cigarette, so I'm going to go off it. Well, I went off it, and like 2 days later, I was smoking cigarettes again. So how much good that did. But now I am vaping, and one thing I did notice, and I'm sure, there's some bad stuff, but one thing I've noticed is that I'm not getting the bronchitis like I did when I smoked regular cigarettes. So for me, I gained. I must not want to quit that bad. Probably in the back of my mind, I'm going, yeah, I want to quit. I do. I know I probably feel better, but, I can't do it for somebody else. I can't just do it because I'm not ready, I guess. And I've been smoking since I was 13. And I'm 63 now. So I haven't died yet. And it's not funny, but, it's a tough one. I've tried everything. But I do want to say something, Pat, if you want to, like OP said, there was something I tried years ago is like getting cinnamon toothpicks and like chewing on those, having them that kind of helped, because it's, an oral, it's hands, it's all that stuff. So you could try that. And good luck, because it's a hard one.
Well, it's the ritual, and I think it was Aaron's Energy 313. She, I'm not sure if it's a boy or a girl, but they stated that and I don't mean they like that. Is it weird? I feel like smoking is a part of my identity, the rebellious nature. And then, you know what? It's a girl. Okay. So, and that's part of it. Not only that, like you guys, everybody here has nicotine addiction, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So like you guys, I've been since I was 12 years old. We were shoplifting the cigarettes out of the party store and smoking them at the park. That's what we did. And I've been smoking ever since. But now I vape, and I've been on and off the vapes, and I did hand-rolled cigarettes, so I don't smoke as many because it doesn't taste as good. And I've tried everything: chew, red men tobacco, swallowed that shit, got sick, the whole 9 yards. And I quit not heroin, but eating pills. Okay, so you might as well, so opiates, cocaine, crack cocaine. I quit marijuana several times, or not smoked it as much or whatever. Anything that alcohol I used to drink, I quit all those things. But nicotine is a monkey that's so hard to get off the back. And like you said, Pat, I was in Krav Maga for several years, and that's like really cardio based, and snot would come out of my nose, and I would be like, and there's a fat guy next to me, right? And he's and he's doing better than I am with his cardio. I'm over there. I'm red. I'm half dying. My eyeballs are falling out. All the snot's coming out of my nose. And, you got to keep going. But, yeah, it's just like, huh.
The tricky thing about nicotine addiction that I've read is that when you haven't had a cigarette for a while, your tongue actually mimics nicotine to make you want or to go grab a cigarette. So it's like this evil little trick of the body. Nicotine is also nicotine is a goddess, I believe, as well. And we honor her.
You're not helping us, OP, at all. My guru says it's okay to smoke. Okay,
It's herbs,
is a goddess.
man.
No, I no, absolutely not.
Smoke our
Bulldozer pushing back. Nicotine
back
is
on the
not a
enabler.
goddess. Whatever. If it's a goddess, it's a goddess. But let's just say, for the sake of addiction, we're not worshiping the nicotine goddess today on the show. Okay.
Well, I'm also
It's
Native
not
American.
okay to smoke. It gives people lung cancer.
I don't know that for sure. I'm not a doctor.
It gives people COPD. It does all. It makes your blood vessels constrict.
I don't know that. I do know that the shot does that, but I, haven't done the kind of study on lung cancer that I have on the COVID jab.
I have an idea for you. You should do some studies. So you.
But I don't trust anything they say, and I'm not going to cut someone up or anything.
I would just
how do you trust them?
Yeah, it's true. I would just say it sounds like, Patrick is he really wants to do this, and I would give it time. Just give it time. Keep doing everything you can to try to, lessen the urge. And I think your exercise that you're doing now is probably going to help. Don't give up. Just keep, it's funny how we all think that we can quit things like that, like, oh, this is what I want to do. It takes time. And I think you just need to be patient. Just be patient. Keep doing what you're doing to try to quit. That's really all I can offer, as far as nicotine goes, because it's hard. Really is.
Hey, Tom, I was checking out your the fume. So what it is it's a cessation sister, right? So it's like when you get the urge to hit nicotine, it's got a bunch of herbs in there, and you inhale it, and it's supposed to help you not want the nicotine, right? It's kind of like the cinnamon stick or something like that. To Ann's point, but that's what it was. So it's an expensive piece of candy, in my opinion.
Yeah, it is real expensive.
Yeah. But I don't know. Chris, any thoughts on the smoking? Have you ever tried quitting smoking?
Not seriously, no. I'm not, I can't say that. I said in the past, oh yeah, I've tried. I didn't seriously try because I never wanted to stop.
Yeah.
Now I want to stop because I can't breathe in general. So, it just.
Now,
I will say, during my pregnancy with my son, I quit the whole time, and it wasn't willpower necessarily. I mean, I was going to quit anyway. I wasn't sure karmically it was correct to be doing any kind of recreational things with my body while carrying a child. So every time I smelled cigarette smoke,
my wife was
threw
able
up.
to do that too.
And that was aversion therapy.
Right. I know a couple, but one stands out because he was an older guy, a Buddhist monk. Okay. They said when you smoke, anybody's smoking, they're not in balance. There's no balance. They're out of balance somewhere. So because it's an addiction, because it hurts your body, definitely out of balance. And actually animals will sense that. I've noticed that some smokers, the animals right away, they don't like it. Unless the animal knows the smoker. If you're a smoker and the animal doesn't know you, he don't trust you. There's a reason for that until he gets to know you. Right. I don't know if that's just coincidence, quinky dink.
I think it's a part of it. I think that's a part of it. You just know you're doing something bad.
I don't know that.
I do. Because I'm like, all right, well,
come on.
Caffeine and nicotine. I'm like, yeah, I'm doing some horrible crap to my body. And
I'm not going to disagree 100% with OP, because what if we were smoking a natural tobacco with none of the chemicals on it?
That's what I do.
Your lungs are still going to create mucus. because they're protecting themselves from something that's not
Well,
supposed to
then
be
why don't
there.
we get those problems from smoking pot?
I quit smoking pot for a while and see what happens. We'll see what you
Oh,
spit
I
up.
have.
So what do you
Well,
spit
that's
up?
the thing, dude, is I never spit anything up, man. It was just like normal. Like you know what I mean?
I'm basing my opinion on this. I know for a fact that when foreign objects go in your lungs, whether it's pollen, cigarette smoke, pot smoke, hash smoke, whatever
Sage.
kind of whatever, anything, right? Your lungs create mucus to protect themselves and the cells within there from that foreign object coming and hurting them. So the
Okay.
only thing that belongs in our lungs is air. And that's where I get my thinking from. That's just because I know that they're not lying about your lungs producing mucus as an irritant, as a defense against an irritant. So that's why I just don't. I got to argue that one. So, but I'm done now. We can move on to something else if you guys want. Or we
I
can
think it's a great conversation. But where I go with addiction is my life has become unmanageable. That's where I'm like, okay, that's something you need to address. That's an addiction. But for Pat, I think it's awesome and yay. And I'm going to cheer you on. And if you let me, and if you let all of us, I'm sure we will pray for you. I think that's pretty powerful.
I just want to beat it. I don't want to be a slave to anything. And I feel like, I mean, again, aside from monetary issues, I feel like a slave to cigarettes. And I don't want to be that. I want to, in my mind, whether it's good or bad, whether it's, in my mind, it feels like a hindrance in more ways than one. And I would like to overcome that. So I'm just, that's all. I'm just putting it out there for, ideas and stuff.
You could do it, dude. Mind over matter.
Yes, you can, dude. You're an ass kicker, bro.
Yeah.
You're like a hurricane in a bottle. I know you can do it, and that's kind of like tonight. I'm going to be a little bit of devil's advocate on the addiction side, and the ladies are probably going to get angry with me, but yeah, there's a point where you have to look inside yourself and say, "Wow, this is disgusting." Okay, I'm just going to use words that are not pretty. Okay, I'm a disgusting person. I'm destroying other people, right? And look in the mirror and be disgusted. And then you I can't hear you, OP.
I'm muted. I'm listening. Thank you.
And you have to be strong to quit what you're doing. If you don't have a certain strength inside of you, and I hope I'm wrong about this, but I notice the people who don't get away from it, how come could the program be so shitty, the AA program and the NA program, and it's only 10% success rate? Could it be that, or could it be there's more people who don't have the constitution of character that it takes to actually realize you have an addiction, be tough enough to go through the horror of a physical withdrawal, a mental withdrawal, the time and the patience of a year or two of feeling like a normal human being again after something that traumatic, that long of an addiction or whatever it is you're going through. You got to have the fortitude to do that. Is it just that these people don't have that fortitude? And if you're watching this and you don't think you do, you do. That's what pisses me off. It's an excuse. You're being lazy. You don't want to change. You want to stay that way because I really want to believe that people have it in them to do it. And I'm going to shut up.
That's okay. There are people like that. They just don't want to. But I also want to go back to what you said about the 10%. I mean, there might be more than that. I mean, that's what is reported. But not everybody reports, like when they take those surveys, not everybody reports that, on it. So there could be more. But I agree. I mean, I worked with some people who went through my program like so many times, did well, and just before they were like going to transition back into the community, they would use. So, and then they'd be back through the whole program again, So as far as, I do believe that there's just people who, can say, oh, I want to quit, but they really don't. They go through what they have to, maybe because of legal issues or, their families on them for it or whatever. But, I agree with you to some degree, AT. There's some people who just don't want to. And, abstinence from anything is difficult, but I've seen it I've seen people do it. I've seen people just go abstinent and, talk about how hard it is, do everything they can to, work through it, however that might be for them. So, and I kind of am a person, like, if you're going to quit something, you just have to abstain. You can't like patches for smoking and, all those kinds of things. I think that's bogus, really. I
Feels
don't
like you're
think.
dragging it out.
Yeah, and they don't, of course, they're always pushing the patches and this and that. If you keep introducing something to your body, you're going to continue to crave it. You know what I mean? So, nobody wants you to really quit smoking or quit drinking, right? They have all these substitutes that still put it in your body. So for me, if you're going to quit something, this is just how I feel about it. You just got to abstain from it. You can't introduce it in little increments throughout the day. You just got to put it back. And I'm not saying that's going to be easy. And I'm not saying that you won't pick up. And I'm going to use cigarettes, for example. It doesn't mean you're not going to, break down after 2 days and smoke, but you went 2 days, and you just keep trying. And that's the same to me, with drugs and alcohol as well. So that's just my opinion.
That was awesome. That was absolutely awesome. I bet you we all want to smoke right now. So Tom, am I being too rough on people? Tom, you have one of your skills, brother, and that what people can learn from you when they get to know you is your skill of mercy, dude, and your skill of putting yourself and empathizing with other people. Am I being too hard?
No, dude, when people are addicted to stuff, they have to be talked to in a stern way. You know what I mean? So being stern I think you're being stern. You're explaining yourself. You're not yelling or screaming, but you're saying, hey, this is the way it is. Dude, I never went through when I was in junior high, I got busted at school for smoking pot. They made me go to AA meetings or NA meetings. But dude, I was like 16 years old. You know what I mean? And these people are in the room and they're like, yeah, man, I was getting a case of beer and a gram of Coke and an ounce of weed. And I'm like, whoa, dude, I'm just smoking a joint. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so it was a little, yeah. So, being 16 years old with these older folks in there, telling their stories, I was like, dude, I don't need to come to this shit no more. So I quit going. And later on in life, I went cold turkey. You know what I mean? I just quit. And that's the only way it works. You just
I didn't use a program or anything either. I quit.
So people use the program. I'm not going to say it's a crutch. You know what I mean? But if that's what helps them get through the addiction, more power to them.
I think the reason that the program is it's in depth, and I think the goal of the program is to confront your shadow self. And if you go cold turkey and thank God it works, you still haven't necessarily confronted a shadow self within.
Well, yeah, the addiction is a symptom of something else gone awry. I believe. I believe the addiction is a symptom of something else. Chris, what do you think, man? About you got to kind of be tough. It's something that takes a lot of fortitude.
Yeah, no, I think, to be honest with you, I think part of it is don't tell anyone you're going to quit something. Just do it on your own, because you're just setting yourself up for disaster and a crushing blow later on if you do relapse, and then 9 times out of 10, you're probably not going to try quitting again, because you're going to be like, oh, you're going to be so hard on yourself that, oh, I wasn't able to keep with the program or whatever it was. I wasn't able to keep putting those patches on my shoulder to quit smoking. Just, people that I know that were able to quit things, they didn't tell anybody. and you kind of noticed it after a while. It's like, oh wow, they're not smoking, they're not drinking anymore, but they didn't feel the need to broadcast it to everybody. It was a personal thing,
Right.
and I think
Yeah.
maybe, I can't say from experience, but I think there's something to it, So, I could think
Gotcha.
of with
Well,
that.
yeah, because you need to prove it to yourself. If they're announcing, first of all, are you doing it for yourself? Are you doing it for the right reasons when you start announcing things, right?
Right.
It's not about any, it's a problem you have, not, something else that you want to show everybody. Oh, look, I can do this. So the mind frame is gone right from the gate when you do it like that. That's.
And I'll be honest, a lot of it has to do with the ritual too. Just
Yes.
driving to go get a
Yeah.
pack of smokes or going to get some booze. It's a ritual, just like everything else. Like people doing cocaine, they're going to cop, right? And it's like they have this whole
Oh,
ritual.
dude, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
it's from what? It's a ritual, dude. To the god of destruction, whatever. Just pick the name, any name you want, and it from beginning to end to the way you chop up
Loki.
everything.
Yeah.
Thank you, Opie. I knew you'd come up with a good god of destruction for us. Oh,
So
by the way,
that's a part of the
and-
addiction is the ritual.
yes, it is. It's very ritualistic. And Chris, this one is for you guys. You guys are turning it up. Tom, you get nothing. I'm just teasing, Tom. All you guys, thank you. You guys are tearing it up. I appreciate it. This is a good one tonight. Another thing for me is I always go back to this with seriousness about the addiction. We are so far unplugged on how we are supposed to be living that in my mind we have these, again, I've never been able to talk about the surrogate activities. We come up with surrogate activities. We're supposed to be running around doing other things to fulfill our lives, to fulfill our mental process, our physical process. And without those things in your life, you're not going to be able to stay away from that deviant behavior of addiction, in my humble opinion. And somehow you have to do it. It might be karate, right? It might be reading or researching. It might be plumbing. It might be a lot of different, a hobby that somebody has. It might be, a lot of different things, but you got to find something to plug and something healthy to satisfy yourself. You need to exhaust your body in a good way and exhaust your mind in a good way, because that's what I think a lot of people are chasing. That's one of the holes that we have, not to mention all the other complications from postmodern living.
Just remember, caffeine is another big one that people don't take into account, because a lot of them depend on that for when they go to work or whatever. Caffeine, it's just like nicotine, just as addictive and can be very destructive as well.
That's a no-go for me. We are not getting rid of the great god of caffeine. Just putting it out there.
I drink decaf coffee and I don't know the difference, except for it doesn't stress out my adrenal glands.
I don't know if I could convince myself that that's true.
What does nicotine do to your adrenal glands, OP?
I don't know.
Oh, you don't know, but it's all, like it does the same thing coffee does. You know how I know that? Because I'm scared of Alzheimer's disease. So I've researched coffee and nicotine's effect on the brain and other things. And that's actually caffeine and nicotine are supposed. People who do a lot of that don't get the Alzheimer's as much.
But is it the nicotine or is it all of the other shit that's in regular
That's my
cigarettes?
point.
And that's the same with the coffee, the way it's processed, with the chemicals and stuff. So
Well, nicotine is a stimulant, guys. Nicotine
Yes.
is a stimulant.
Yeah.
So it does the same thing a caffeine would do. Your adrenal glands are going to release a certain amount.
Mhm.
For sure.
Patrick, I just want to say this to Patrick. I used to drink coffee all day long when I was really young. Now I drink like 1 cup a day now. And that wasn't because I tried, or it just like after a while I have my morning cup of coffee and that's all I need. I mean, rare occasions I'll have coffee if I have dinner with friends or something, but it just kind of faded for me. So, if you think that you'll always drink all that, your body also starts going, Oh, I drink 2 cups of coffee and I feel a little nauseous, and especially in hot weather. Like down here in Florida, it 1 cup of coffee is all I can handle. I don't know if it's from the heat or what, but anyways, you might be, oh, I'll never give up coffee, but as you age, you might you might cut back a little bit. I
I
don't know.
decided for whatever reason when my daughter went to college last year, so she was a freshman. I saw this really crazy video about this dude who drank a like regular construction worker dude, drank a couple of Red Bulls a day, and dude was dead at like 50 or 55, and they found a whole bunch of crap in his veins. Whether it was a spook story or not, I decided to quit drinking Red Bull, and I didn't think I could do that either. And then my daughter's a sophomore now. It's been a whole year, and I haven't had a single one. Because some things I've been able to just be done with, while other things not so much.
Well, when I worked in the program, we actually stopped the clients drinking Red Bull because we found out that it does that it causes kidney damage, and you have people already kind of jittery from trying to quit and stuff. So we actually said, you're not allowed to have Red Bull. People were drinking like 10 of them a day, and it was like, what do you guys
yeah, you get well, yeah. When if
That's
I
like
don't
a bag
have,
of methamphetamine right there.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. If I don't have any coffee for like my okay, I drink coffee first thing in the morning, 2:00 espresso time, right? I'm having espresso. If I don't have it at 2:00 and I'm able to get it at like 3, when I drink it, I can feel it like a buzz. I'm elated actually for a couple of minutes, like like almost very similar to a mild amphetamine buzz, like a mild cocaine buzz. That's just for a little while, not exactly the same, but very, very similar.
But I've had caffeine withdrawals before, and they suck.
Yes.
Real bad headaches.
Yes.
Headaches and everything. Oh yeah.
So are you drinking the caffeine for energy, the coffee for energy? Is that
absolutely? Yeah.
Look, dude, I can fix your problem right now.
What's up?
You start taking cordyceps mushrooms, dude. You won't want to drink another Red Bull or caffeine, dude. I have a half a cup of coffee in the morning and half a cup of coffee when I get home from work, and that's it.
Is it like clean, Tom, or does it make you jittery?
Yes, sir, dude. No, it doesn't give you. It's, dude. I'm telling you, brother. This is, excuse my language, the shit.
No, you can.
I take them every day, brother. And I have the energy. My energy level is always right there. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not jittery. I don't feel like I'm tweaking out or nothing, dude. I'm telling you, they work.
No, but Tom, also we got to remember that sugar is a big addiction too. Sugar.
Well, I use honey. I use honey in my coffee.
Guilty as hell.
Right, but I'm just saying, like the population in general is nicotine, caffeine, and sugar.
Yeah.
Well, the sugar's in everything.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, and that doesn't help.
The crack of sugar, high fructose corn syrup. It's the crack cocaine of sugar. OP, you have some really good people in this chat here, and they've made some really good comments. If you want to pick out a couple of them and shout out to everybody, well,
go ahead, AT. Enjoy. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. It's your chat, but okay. I mean, I like Aaron's energy. 313 says, I mean, life is hard. The fact that we're all here, aware and able to discuss this topic is huge. Be kind to yourselves. That was a really good one. I like what you had to say in there. You don't like it how we can't do this or do that, and it's dictated by companies. And what else do we have here? Legality plays a part too, knowing there is an immediate repercussion you can make, change your mind. Convincing yourself it's going to have immediate repercussions can help move you. Yeah, criminal threat, the threat of criminal prosecution and punishment has helped a lot of people for sure. And then over here in the TNP chat, we've got JB Morrison. What's up, dude? Thanks for viewing. And we have number 6, and we have Audi MMR. And then in my chat, we got Rhonda. What is going on, Rhonda? We got Brian Taylor. We got Audi, Modern Metro Radio there again. Check out his Modern Metro Radio station. It's pretty cool. And we got the real Jason Barker. So thanks for viewing, guys. And who said something in here? It was It was I think Audi said it. NA's challenge for addicts is how legal consequences make it hard for them to resume a normal life. Background checks prevent good jobs and housing, so addicts give up. That is a good point. That's a good point. Yeah, definitely.
Nothing that the legal system does helps people who have been in prison or, I mean, you're just held back, or let's take, dad's car because he's not being able to pay child support, right? So let's take his car away from him. Then he can't get to his job, so he can't pay. It's similar to somebody who's been addictive and trying to get their lives back on track. A lot of times, oh, you have a felony, and they do have like programs that work with felons to try to get them jobs. They have a lot of those programs, but oftentimes employers are just like, I don't want to risk it. So, it's hard on people, even when they're really trying hard to get their life back. Nothing is set up to help people, really.
Yeah.
No. The whole world, I mean, outside of what we're talking about, and let me know what you guys think about this. The whole world is, guys, I'm not trying to be hard. You have to look out for yourself. No one is looking out for you. You have to do everything yourself. If you want to improve yourself, you got to do it yourself. You want to quit doing drugs, you got to do it yourself. You want to eat healthy, you want to live healthy, you want to learn martial arts, you want to learn how to be a plumber, you want to learn how to be a master researcher, you want to learn how to be a drug rehabilitation counselor or a occult priestess soul counselor. You got to do it yourself. You can't. Nobody's going to go out there and do it for you. Nobody's going to go out there and get it for you. And that if you have that attitude, you got to get rid of it.
Just like the whole white hat thing. There's no white hats coming to save us. We got to do it on our own. Right? Same idea. Yeah. Do for yourself. Some people can, some people can't. That's it.
I'll be right back. I'm just going to go have a cigarette. Kidding. But I will be right back.
Okay.
I'm going to go do 2 shots. I'll be right back.
That's hilarious. That is hilarious. But yeah, people they don't have any, for Joan says in her chat, actually, in OP's chat. What were you going to say, Ann? I am sorry. And for Jones agrees with you, Ann. They get discouraged 100%, she says.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's just anything that you're trying to accomplish, you just have to be patient and keep trying, and don't beat yourself up when you fail for a minute, or even if it takes you a while to get back on track. I think people who are really trying also are really hard on themselves. And I think, you have to have some patience and realize, I've been doing this, whatever behavior, for a very long time. It's going to take me time to, work it out and no longer have that issue, so whether it's quitting drinking, smoking, using, you just have to be patient, be kind to yourself. Know that every little bit you do is like a success, really. It's better in your life, right?
Ian, can I ask you something?
Mm-hmm.
What's the, how do I word this? They say it takes like a certain amount of time to break a habit, a bad habit. Mm-hmm. Is it like a 30-day thing or 60-day thing?
Oh, you would
I'm talking about the amount of days that it takes to turn back a bad habit.
I think it's a very short time. I can't remember. I want to say like 10 days, but I don't know that exactly. I think it's 10 days. If you're replacing a bad habit with a good habit, it only takes like 10 days, I think.
Okay.
If I remember correctly.
Yeah, because I didn't know if it was a couple of weeks or something, but it could be just 10 days. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, you just have to keep trying. Well, I started doing some Tai Chi stuff. I actually took Tai Chi when I was younger, earned a patch and all that. And, I got away from it. And it's kind of hard for me because I'm disabled. So I'm doing some of the minor things, and, like, I'm psyched because I'm actually doing them at this age. Initially, to get started. And it was just because, I'm older. I don't have a lot of friends here, and I need to do something positive for myself. So I started doing that, and I'm really enjoying it. So it took, a few days to get in the routine of things. Now I'm like, once you do that, it's funny, you don't want to miss it. Oh, I've got to do these 10 exercises today. Same with walking. You walk every day, just at a regular pace. And before you know it, if you do it every day, you don't want to miss it.
And
And
if you do miss it, you don't feel right, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And you feel the energy. You start to feel energetic. You can see where it's really helping, even just a basic walk, So, yeah, it's just, taking time, forcing yourself on those days. I don't really want to. Once you do, you're like, yeah, I did it, and I didn't even want to do it. So I think it's, you just got to keep pushing forward.
Yeah.
With anything.
That was awesome. Nice. Yeah. And I am addicted to walking and hiking every day. I do it twice a day. If I miss it, I get upset. If I know I'm going to miss it, I am not in a good mood that day. Don't you dare interfere with my walk. But what have I done? Is that another addiction? Have I traded one thing for the other? And if I have, I think it's a positive thing. That's a good thing.
Absolutely.
So now let's talk about pot.
Okay.
What do you want to talk about?
Okay. So you have, let's get an example. I got two meth heads and a crackhead, right? And they go to the bar. Right. And this guy goes up to him and says, hey, you couple of meth heads and your crackhead, why don't you try this weed out, man? This is way better. And all of a sudden, the two meth heads and the crackhead, they discover marijuana. All of a sudden, they don't want, maybe they exchange the two. They're not doing meth or crack anymore, these guys. Now they're smoking the weed, right? Now, the weed isn't as expensive or as crazy. The addiction isn't as crazy. They notice they're not doing things like, taking copper to the scrapyard that they found in the backyard, maybe, or, maybe they're not, maybe looking through somebody's purse or doing whatever nefarious, horrible thing that they were doing to get their money, right? And they can work and they can function in society with everybody else now, but they do smoke pot. And they call that the lesser harm effect. We have not really gotten into that too much. We mentioned it, I think, in one show. What do you think of that? I think if I could get a heroin addict off of heroin and put him on marijuana, and he's a marijuana addict now, that's way better for the heroin addict. My opinion. And it's probably
that's how I stopped doing meth. Smoked a lot of it, made me sleep, dude. So
it's good for ADHD. When your brain's
Anything that'll help
moving.
you sleep in this society, that's not like pills,
Right.
I'm not sure pot's addictive.
I am honest with myself at all times, and I am not going to lie to myself and tell myself that pot's not addictive, and I'm not going to lie to myself and tell myself I am not addicted to pot because I can't sleep without it. So that is an addiction. I am probably mentally and physically addicted to pot. For me, I'm just being honest with myself.
Well, when I went up to Colorado, dude, I was doing about 150 milligrams a day of THC before I went to bed. So that would consist of a full candy of 100 milligrams and then 50 milligrams of RSO, Rick Simpson oil. Well, dude, when I went to Colorado, I couldn't afford that stuff anymore because it was so expensive there, right? And I had to cut way down on the RSO. The edible wasn't that bad, but the RSO, yeah, dude, I probably didn't sleep for about 3 weeks. So not a good sleep, you know what I mean? Where I was knocked out.
So Tom, do you consider pot an addiction? If you're honest about it?
Yeah, but a good addiction. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna I'm not going to go. I'm not going to go rob my neighbor's house so I can go buy me a bag of weed.
Well,
You know
not
what I'm
with that
saying?
attitude.
Like I would.
Yeah.
Hey, dude. I mean, well, I used to rob people
I
on a
know.
daily basis to get my methamphetamine.
I
You know what I
know.
mean? 12 o'clock came around. That's when Tom went to work.
That's right.
You know?
I think Bob Saget had the best theory on marijuana, but I would call it the lesser of two evils, the lesser of a bunch of evils that I can actually point to that benefits me. I just smoke paper J's. I don't get into anything else, and it helps with my ADD and it helps slow my brain down so that I can work the critical path that's in front of me, as opposed to being sporadic and starting and stopping and starting and stopping and not being able to complete something. I'll be honest. I'm an alcoholic, but pot helps me. Helps me get through my day to day. Is it still an addiction? Of course. Am I an asshole if I happen to run out of pot? Probably. But I think it kind of levels me out, to be honest with you. And everything that I've got to keep up with and think of, and from everything from A to Z, it helps me out that way. And like I said, I'm not stealing from Home Depot for that. I'm not pawning my kids' stuff for that. I'm not, spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars on that. It's almost a medication to me. I don't.
And speaking
To
of
me, it's a
kids,
medication.
I'm just going to say I'm not mad at you for stealing from Home Depot, though, Pat.
They can afford it.
Did I tell you the flip
What
side
was that,
of it?
OP?
that children are on marijuana. Their parents give it to them. It helps with seizures, ADHD. I've always, as a Native American, I've always seen it as medicine. And nicotine is also medicine for me personally. It helps keep icky spirits away from me.
Well, it's better than what they were giving us in the 80s. I came up in you're in a special ed class because you can't pay attention. Let's give them Ritalin. And, my mom tells a story. The first time I took Ritalin, I was underneath the table tweaking out, poking people. All of that stuff was bad for me. And I got into and more of an adult life because, all of that Ritalin and Adderall did the exact opposite for me.
They're
If I used it to get high, I was,
addiction. Yeah. In children. Yeah.
Yeah.
Chris, brother, what did you have to say, brother?
No, just on the plus side of the whole pot thing, there's quite a few creative types that have been able to utilize marijuana in a positive way and actually a productive way. Certain people like Kevin Smith and, whether you like him or not, Joe Rogan. I mean, people can be productive on marijuana. I usually don't hear that other side of it.
You're talking to somebody who made a living off of that for many
Yes.
years. You're talking to somebody. You want to ask a pot question? You want to know something about marijuana? Ask me. I'll answer it, and I'll give you a real good answer. That's veritas. I am not saying that, but I'm just saying I don't lie to myself, and I know that I'm addicted to marijuana. And I use it for sleeping as a medicine. That is a medicinal use. I have arthritis all over the place, from what I do. I could be on Vicodin and I could go to the doctor or be on, I don't think they make Vicodin anymore from what I understand, but I could be on pain pills and I could be on opiates again. And that's how I was on opiates. Okay. But, I get the addiction in my mind is a lot better to be on pot than it is to be on any of these other things, even alcoholism, if that's how you're going to look at it. I mean, and then you have people who, we have some people in the chat are saying, that anything that alters the mind and is a sin and that's not good. That's a way of viewing things. I understand that. But then you better not eat anything because anytime you eat anything, your brain chemistry changes. Your mind is altered. Dopamine is released. So all these drugs do. I think there's sometimes, I think in the communities that are ultra conservative, there's a lack of knowledge and understanding on how the body actually works with nature. And I think that what happens is that they confuse things with the devil's weed and the alcohol use is bad. Cocaine, coca plant in and of itself is not a bad way to stimulate yourself. If you take a cocoa leaf and a hazelnut leaf and a walnut leaf and you chew on it, it's no different than, everything you do release, and all these drugs do when they get into you, any one of them, is they go inside your body and make your body release chemicals that are already there. Okay, they're all receptors. You have cannabinoid receptors. You have all kinds of different amphetamine receptors. You have all kinds of different receptors for food. Okay, that's one of the reasons dopamine releases. So you want to go get food again, so you survive. It's part of the way the body works. So there's medicine in everything, and then there's excess of everything, and doing anything in excess is going to cause damage not only to your body, your mind, and even your soul, right? Because if you do something, anything is, even religion can be done in excess, in my opinion. So, what do you guys?
Moderation in
I
all,
just-
excess in none.
No, I just wanted to throw it out there. Just that marijuana gets demonized way too much, and it's not that horrible. And you look at the alternatives, like you look at it like even alcohol. Like you don't hear about someone smoking a joint and then beating their wife or whatever, or getting in the car and killing a family of 5. I mean,
And you can't die from marijuana withdrawal, but you can die from alcohol withdrawal, believe it or not. And most people who end up, say, in a detox at the hospital, they'll give them Valium because if they don't have that drink, their central nervous system shuts down. So that's the only drug. Actually, alcohol is the only one you can die from withdrawal. Now, you could die from overdose with other drugs, but you can't die from withdrawing from them. So alcohol is really probably the most poison that you could consume. So
they use that during the lockdown too for justification for having the liquor stores open too. You remember that? Because of seizures and
Aaron's Energy 313 would like to add, and I agree with her on this one. I think you'll remember this too, Ann. Is that benzos, say it for me, someone. Benzodiazepines.
Benny and the Jets.
But you can Valium or Klonopin or Xanax can kill you. Is that right?
from withdrawing from them?
Yeah. Yes.
You probably end up, having to have small amounts of Valium to decrease, each day.
You can't just cold turkey. So I cold turkeyed Klonopin after using it for 5.5 years. I did not sleep for 17 days. And I remember I was walking my dogs in the woods, of course, and we don't have wolves. And I'm seeing wolves. Whole pack of wolves. And I was like, I need to sleep. And guess what? I wasn't even thinking all the things I have in my brain. I tried valerian root. I tried all the herbal remedies to try to sleep. I did smoking weed. Nope, no sleep. And the thing that worked was marijuana edibles, candy bars. I remember breaking the little Hershey's into pieces and eating them, and that's how I could go to sleep. But that was a horrendous experience, not sleeping for that long. It was, I might have got maybe an hour of sleep a night, not full sleep.
Quitting opiates was the worst experience of my life. You go through opiate withdrawal, you want to peel your face off. It's a deeply physical, it's a deeply physical detax.
Sure.
And I've heard stories of people just completely losing it trying to withdraw from opiates. That's why the Sacklers were so evil in what they did, and what the pharmaceutical companies are so bad in what they did is because they addicted a generation of people on pain pills who were just trying to, alleviate a little bit of pain, or, maybe get through the day, or their back hurt or whatever. And that now you're stuck on this. You're stuck on it like white on rice. You can't quit, because you stop, you get sick, period.
Yeah, I hated that.
That was the hardest thing I ever had to quit.
You get sick from withdrawal from a lot of things, and you feel like you're going to die. I mean, I worked in the emergency rooms, and people on heroin would come in, hurting, really, really bad. And some of them, like once they got feeling better, they would leave and continue using, which I saw that a lot. I mean, some of the withdrawals are horrible. Don't get me wrong. I didn't mean to sound like the other drugs,
You did.
aren't
did.
hard.
no. Yeah.
But, yeah.
No, that's another thing I want to talk about on the shows. There's a thing called Suboxone and Suboxone and Subutrax and all that stuff. And I believe that the doctors are misprescribing it. I got my buddy who's been on Suboxone.
That can be
for
addictive
12
too,
years.
right? That can be addictive too.
You're gonna
Suboxone?
Yeah, you're going to be on somebody's juice, whether it's the pills or whether it's Suboxone or whether it's methadone. They want you on someone's juice, and that's all replacement shit. You know what I mean? You switch one for the other.
They never go to the
Oh,
root.
shit. Oh, shit. Tom, I'm
I
so
agree,
sorry.
Ann.
You're gone, and now you're back. And
No,
he's sitting in the back rooms. He's just sitting there. And I'm like,
I lost my net for a second, dude. Sorry, no worries.
That's
it's all right.
Ann, what were you saying?
I was just saying that, for anything, they never get to the root of the problem. They always just want to give you a Band-Aid of some sort, I mean, I've had that experience with stuff throughout my whole life with doctors, and it just makes me aggravated. I won't even go now because no matter what it is, it's like, okay, how can I prevent this? What can I do to feel better? What can I personally do? Don't just say, oh, here's a script for whatever. They don't even try to get to the root of the problem for anything. It's so frustrating. I'm so anti-medical at this point in time in my life. It's like, nope, I'll just figure it out. I'll try to do everything I can to feel better, and the heck with, even bothering with them. It's just maddening. And, they should be catching people in early age when, they're supposed to go for physicals. Why aren't they talking about nutrition and this and, exercise? So it prevents some of the things that we get as we age. Nope, they won't do that. It's just so frustrating. They need to
They
go
don't
away.
want us to be healthy. They
No,
want us to be sick,
they
so we
wanna
keep
kill us.
going
They
back
love
to
the
the
drug
doctors.
They love the addiction.
There's no
Yeah.
there's
It's
no
the
money.
new world
There's no money.
order.
There's no
So
money in
our
healthy.
re-show is turning into a conspiracy show, as it always does.
No, we're not going to we're trying not to. We're trying.
I'm
Pat,
sorry,
we got
I
a
did
question
it.
for you. We got a question for you from Aaron's Energy. Can I ask, Pat, did you quit opiates cold turkey?
No.
You use Suboxone like I did?
I use Suboxone.
Me too.
But it was very expensive because I've been self-employed for almost 10 years. I didn't have any insurance at the time, and I had to pay for everything out of pocket. Don't get me wrong, it was a good investment. But then I realized 3 months later that I was increasing my Suboxone milligrams just to get high.
The Suboxone, I knew what was up with it, bro. Again, I studied the shit because I was trying to get off the pills, right? And I'm like, this is no good. And actually, my pot doctor said you should be on this stuff for like 3 days, and that was way before I wanted to quit. So I just got some off the street. It was $8 for a pill. I cut that thing in 4 pieces, and I took it for 3 days, and that was it.
Actually, I was able to quit the Suboxone, not cold turkey, but I was able to taper off of it.
Nice. That takes some
Because
strength. You're a warrior.
quitting opiates cold turkey wasn't an option for me. I was scared of it. I'm not afraid of a lot of things, but withdrawal, I was scared of withdrawal.
Yeah, that's the worst thing about opiates is and you know what? That's what made me want to quit was all this conspiracy stuff, OP, right? I realized that if everything could shut down in 2 seconds, right? And I wouldn't be able to get any pills. And how am I going to protect my son, and the people that I love and do what I need to do in chaos if I'm bogue? We call it bogue when you're sick, when you're withdrawn. How am I going to do that when I'm withdrawing from opiates? That's why I was like, I got to quit this shit.
It was just another one of those things that I wanted to personally beat. And outside of smoking, that was a very hard battle as well. They make these drugs so addictive, and it doesn't matter what the drug is. you're going to build tolerance to it. I don't care whether it's an ADD medication or a psych medication or Valium or whatever. You're going to build a tolerance to it. You're going to have to take more to get the same effect. And, you know, it's all pacification, you know, unless you really have a health problem and your knees exploded or something like that. The last couple of times that I've been hurt, I refuse to take pain pills. I won't ever touch them again. If Advil can't cure it, I don't know what I'll do, but I will never willingly take opiates ever again.
No, neither will I. Nope. We're getting kind of long in the tooth. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
The shoot.
Long in the
I would
shoot
like
here.
to thank Aaron's Energy. She said respect to both, I believe you and I, and everybody on here, I'm sure too, for quitting, you know, the opiates like that. And then she also goes on to say, for most, it isn't an option to quit cold turkey. I want to, before we go, I just want to give everybody props in the chats. And on the TMP platform, we got 6 and JB Morrison, especially there. You know, those guys are really cool guys. Ha! I got you, JB. Anyways, it's an inside joke. And then we got over here in my on the Tigers Den, we got Rhonda Tate, Jason Barker, Brian Taylor. We got who else? Audi MMRI, and I think that's it in there. And then over on OP's, very active and insightful. Both chats were active and insightful. Great comments in there. We got Joy Jolt 44. We got 4 Jones, and we got Aaron's Energy 313. There's another name in there that I seen. Where'd it go? We gotta get everybody.
Joy Jolt is our friend Claire Bear. We just love her.
Claire Bear, what's happening? Yep. And we have Mana Ray of Hope 23. I like that name. Good names over here in OP's viewing audience. Very good names. So closing from everybody. I just want to say, I'm not picking on pot. If you're taking care of your family and you're doing what you do, the postmodern world is insane, right? And I'm not picking on anybody. Just always try to improve yourself. You know what you have to do if you're being honest with yourself and you're looking inside yourself, what you need to do to improve yourself. And don't let anybody tell you, okay, no matter who you are or where you come from, that you can't do that, because you can. You have the power in you. You have to find it. Don't let anybody do your thinking for you, but it's important. Look inside yourself and assess who you are. And when you do that, every decision you make will come from that well of knowledge of yourself, and you won't have a lot of regrets. You won't have a lot of things that make you feel bad about yourself. You're not that bad, everybody. Just take a good look. Pat, we're going to go all the way down. Pat, final thoughts.
I guess my final thought would be, you're stronger than you think you are. If I can beat things, anyone can. But it has to happen here. You can't listen to the world. You can't listen to the people that say you're not shit. You can't, any of that stuff. It all starts in your own head. And if you can't conquer and get on top of your own malice, your chances are much less that you'll beat these things, because they're, like I said, they're not. We all know they're not easy, simplistic things. These are hardcore drugs, whether we believe it or not, that were created to pacify us and to get us hooked into some other system. So you can do it. That's my final thought.
OP.
Hello, I am Occult Priestess, and you can find me at occultpriestess.com. You can find me on Rockfin and, of course, YouTube. Hey, everybody. Thanks for coming out tonight. Really appreciate you. We do this once a month. And if you're struggling with addiction, please come to me. I can help you. I've been through this. But also, you're struggling against time. I think addiction is a time and patience thing. If you can get through it like 1 second at a time, with what Aaron's Energy had said, the positive voice in your head, the loving voice telling you can do this. So you definitely want that coach in your head, and we can help you develop that. Thank you, guys. I love you all. Thanks for being here.
Nice.
I don't really have much of an ending or whatever. You know what I mean? Just try to be nice to yourself, man. And then you'll start to be nice to other people, and you know, and hopefully that it just opens up more avenues for happiness for you or whatever you're looking for. So,
That was excellent. An excellent ending. Mr.
well, thank you.
Graves.
Yeah, what Tom said.
Mr. Graves, tell the people where they can find you, please.
Well, I can be found on Twitter and with Mr. Cooper every Saturday night at 8 p.m. And I think I can be found in the Tigers Den, I think, coming up.
Yeah, me and Mr. Graves have a Unabomber special that we're putting together
Nice.
for everybody. Yeah, it's Mr. Ted Kaczynski, crazy or not. Here, ready or not, here we come. Chris, thanks, man. Yeah. And final thoughts?
Yeah, just I guess be kind, be patient with yourself. You know, wake up every day and just do a little something different. And I appreciate all of you and thank you for having me on here.
Nice. Everybody, I am Angry Tiger. You can find me on the Tigers Den Wednesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern time. This was kind of a special addiction episode. We wanted to do it on Monday this month, but we do have one every month. You can also find me on the Tiger and Snake Financial Report, 4 p.m. Eastern time every Friday. I do a weekly financial wrap up. And you can find me on all TNP platforms. The New Prisoner, you got to check those guys out. And other than that, all the panel, I wanted to do this for the panel, you know, definitely. Come on. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for viewing, everybody. Thank you very much for viewing. And I just want to let everybody know that time is your most valuable commodity. Try not to waste it. Cherish it. Spend it with someone you love, doing something you love, improving yourself, preferably all three of those things. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for viewing, and until we meet again.
Your time is your most valuable commodity. Cherish it and use it wisely. Until we meet again.